my name is Lon Safko, co-author of the Social Media Bible, published by John Wiley & Sons, the most comprehensive book ever written on the subject of social media. And today we are here with John Arnold, the author of Email Marketing for Dummies, also published by John Wiley & Sons. And we'll be speaking today about social media and, of course, email marketing. So, John, it's really great to have you here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
This is going to be cool. I love it. Great book. Great book. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about who you are and what your background is?
Well, my background comes from a great company called Constant Contact, where I'm the director of Constant Contact University. We produce learning resources to help small businesses do better with their email marketing and practice some of the email marketing best practices that help you to grow your business. And so, out of that company background comes my sort of burning desire to help the small business owner, and that's really why I wrote the book Email Marketing for Dummies, because email marketing is such an awesome tool for growing your business. Being sort of an entrepreneur at heart myself, I've sort of, I tell people this is my first real job. In effect, I've always been a small business owner sort of since I could crawl. So that passion and that desire is still there. And I just think email marketing is one of the best ways that you can grow your business. And so that's what the book is for. It's really written for the small business owner. It's not written to impress a whole bunch of technology-focused industry geeks. It's really written for those small business owners who are in the trenches every day just trying to get more customers and trying to live the life that they want to live.
That's awesome. And you say that you were a bit of an entrepreneur yourself, and so you actually recognized why email is so powerful for the small business owner, and that's why you went to work with Constant Contact and wrote the book?
Yeah, that's right. And, if you're a small business owner, these days it's tough to find customers, and it's tough to keep them coming back. You've got to be in front of them all the time. And email marketing is just such a low-cost tool. When you think about it, this is what's so powerful about that concept. If things are low cost, that's great as a small business owner, but it can be a trap, too. You don't want to make sure that you're always just cutting your costs. What you want to do is grow your revenue. So if you find a low-cost tool out there and it's cheap and it doesn't work, you're really just wasting your money. But if you find a low-cost marketing tool that's cheap and it actually returns more than $1 for every dollar that you spend, then it's a gold mine. And that's what email marketing is. You spend $1 and you get way more than $1 back. In fact, the last time I checked this statistic, the Direct Marketing Association said that the average email marketing ROI is over $45 for every dollar spent. So the average campaign, you spend $1, you can get up to $45 back on your email marketing. Well, that's a great trade. If you're a small business owner, you can rely heavily on some of those technologies that allow you to do that.
Well, that's amazing, $45 to 1. I mean, that's an incredible ROI. And when we did the chapter on email marketing for the Social Media Bible, and we put it out to 1,000 people to get input, user-generated content, wisdom in the crowds, what they kept coming back with is, email, been there, done that, it's passé, it's last century. And then my comments were, well, what about segmenting? What about day parting? What about creative subject lines? So can you kind of address the fact that email really is as efficient as today as it always was?
Well, I understand people who say that kind of thing because I have the same form of attention deficit disorder that some of those marketers have. You always want to be doing the latest thing, and you want to make sure you're not missing an opportunity. But let's face it, the statistics show a couple of things. First of all, everyone uses email. If you want to look at how many people read blogs and know how to subscribe to RSS, or how many people are using their mobile devices, or how many people are actually, reading somebody's Facebook page or finding people online, it's not everybody. And certainly you don't want to miss those markets, so it's important to have a strategy that includes all of those different mediums. But do you know anybody who doesn't use email?
No.
Everybody uses email. In fact, a recent study by AOL sort of indicates people read their email at work, they read it at home, they read it in bed while in their pajamas, they read it in the middle of the night, they read it while they drive, don't do that. They read it in church, 12% of respondents said that.
12%.
So, email is getting delivered where your customers are looking. And if you want to say that that's passé and you want to pass up on that opportunity, well, then I guess maybe you have a better plan. But you should include email marketing in your mix because everybody's there. And your message is getting delivered where people are looking.
Yeah, I got to agree with you 100%. With one of my companies, Paper Models, Inc., we use it often, and really the rate of return on it is just spectacular. And one of the things, and when I had the pleasure of interviewing Eric Rose from Constant Contact, integrity. Integrity not only in the email, but the content, and also working with Constant Contact, that they absolutely ensure that their clients use integrity and follow all of the rules. And I think that's what sets you guys aside from just conventional spam.
Yeah, it's, all those statistics about getting more than $1 back for every dollar that you spend depends on doing email right. If you do email right, it works really well for your business. You can rely on it. If you do it wrong, i.e., you send email to total strangers and expect that they're going to appreciate your communications, that's called spam. You don't want to practice spam marketing. You want to practice email marketing. Email marketing is delivering professional communications to an interested audience, and that audience has to want your communication and think that your information is valuable.
Okay, so if somebody actually wanted to kind of get started doing email marketing campaign, is it difficult? Is it expensive? Does it take a long time? How do you go about it?
Well, the first thing you want to do is recognize that there's a key difference between email programs that are designed for one-to-one email communications, and those are programs like Outlook, where they're really only designed for one-to-one communications. You want to get a program that's going to work to deliver one-to-many email communications, and those are called email service providers. So Constant Contact is an email service provider. Okay. What they do is they just make it super easy for you to create an email using one of their templates, so you don't need to know any HTML or programming. You can create a great-looking email design. You can do a newsletter or promotion, anything that you can think of. You can create that, make it look professional, make it look like your business, and then they'll send it out for you so that you can get a high rate of deliverability. You can stay compliant with all the canned spam laws, and they'll help you track your message. So as it goes out, you can tell who opened it, when they opened it, which links they click on in the email. You can use that for your own marketing information. So you really want to get started with somebody who knows what they're doing, and that's an email service provider. So, and is it low cost? Of course it's low cost. Constant Contact's plans start at $15 a month. Gee. So you'll waste $15 a month trying to do it with a one-to-one email program. So it's just so cost-effective and so easy to use. That's really the first step, is just go with somebody who knows what they've been doing.
And you mentioned something interesting, too, that I heard in the conversation with Eric, is that you guys kind of help. The templates, by the way, are fabulous. I mean, it's just kind of put in your content, and they really do look professional. One of the things that I like about working with an email service, in particular Constant Contact, is how you guys are white-hatted. You're respected in the industry, so more of your emails are going to get delivered. And I got to be honest, I kind of made a mistake here a couple of months ago. I took our entire email database from about 9 years, we've been collecting it, and I blasted it out. And I didn't even think about it. But what happened was most of those emails were old. The people didn't remember that we were customers, and the bounce rate and the opt-outs were so high that you guys shut me off. I thought that was...
Yeah, it's definitely... there are some challenges. Email marketing is not as simple as just loading up all your email addresses and clicking the send button. There's some things that you have to get over, some challenges. And if you think about it, email marketing is both a challenge and an opportunity. Mm-hmm. Everybody faces those same challenges of collecting email addresses the right way, and permission, and the canned spam laws and those kinds of things, and deliverability. So if everybody faces those issues and you can overcome them, then you have a competitive advantage over your competition. So when you go with somebody like a Constant Contact, and they help you and they're with you every step of the way, then you're going to get over those challenges faster than somebody else who sits around trying to figure that out on their own. So it's another reason to use a service and get that stuff done. And Constant Contact's approach is we're there to help the small business owner grow. And when the small business owner's business grows, they reward us by using the product for a long time. So that's at the core of the business model, and that's why we have learning resources on the website. We have face-to-face seminars. We've got hints and tips newsletters. We've got frequently asked question files. We've got live support that's always free to our customers. So, need I say more? We're always there to give that helping hand and to make sure the business owner is getting the value that they think they should be getting, which is business growth.
Excellent. And if you were going to start your own email campaign, I just gave one of the things that you don't do is use an old email list. But if somebody wanted to start it, what are some of the things that they need to kind of watch out for to make sure that they're successful?
Well, I think the colossal mistake number one for email marketing is not having a plan. You really want to take a step back as a business owner and say, what am I trying to accomplish, and what's the end result of what I'm trying to accomplish? So let me give you an example. A lot of people like to use email to drive traffic to their website. But if your website traffic spikes and you're not going to have a company party because of that statistic, you really wanted sales, then you've got to back up and think, okay, how is my email going to really drive sales, not just traffic to my website? So you might find that that changes the way you're going to do your messaging. Maybe you want to create a special landing page on your website, not just driving them to the home page. Or maybe you're going to change your offer so that people click through straight to a shopping cart so that you can try to drive sales to the shopping cart in your website. So really just having a plan and developing all your content around that plan is a super step. Step number two is, of course, to build your list with permission. So you can't use an email address list full of total strangers. If you email total strangers, they're going to think it's spam, and then that ruins your deliverability. If they mark your emails as spam, the internet service providers that deliver your mail will shut you down, and they won't allow you to deliver mail anymore. So got to have a permission-based email list. And then the third thing you want to do is design your email to look professional. So don't just send out an email that has a bunch of text and pictures thrown in there. Use a professional design that reflects the branding and the images that your email that your company has. Use your logo, use your company's colors, your company's fonts, and those kinds of things that brand your business so that you're recognizable and you're starting to differentiate yourself in your marketplace. And the fourth thing is you want to track your results. So after you send out an email campaign, make sure you're looking at your open rates and your click-through rates and all those statistics, and then you use that stuff to create interest lists so you can target the next message and be more targeted with the way that you communicate. Because targeted marketing works better than marketing that's general and trying to be for everyone.
I love
all those four things is a pretty good package. If you can do all that stuff as a marketer, you're going to have good results.
Those are really incredible tips. I really love that. And I'd like to talk about conversions and metrics here in just a second. You also mentioned spam, and a lot of people still get spam, and it's pretty obvious. Can you just mention just quickly a little bit about the Can Spam Act?
Yeah, well, here's the thing about the Can Spam Act. I could talk till I'm blue in the face about the different regulations and all that stuff, but I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter. What matters is that spam is in the eye of the receiver. So the consumer on the other end gets to decide whether they think the email is spam or not. You can, meet the legal definition of spam or not spam, but if you send the email and the person that receives it thinks it's spam, then it damages your business. And here's the thing about spam. If you send out a whole bunch of postcards or RSS feeds with your blog and nobody wants them, nobody really cares. They don't get excited about that. But people just throw away their junk mail, and they just don't read their RSS feed. But if you send out a whole bunch of emails to an audience and nobody wanted them, then people get, enraged. It's like they hate spam. Consumers hate spam, and the last time I checked, hate was not one of the buying emotions. So you don't want to elicit those kind of emotions in your audience. What you want to do is you want them to love you, right?
Right.
So send out emails that people are going to love, and that starts with having a list of people who are familiar with your business, who actually signed up to receive what you have. And let's face it, if you're sending emails to those kind of people, you're going to get more business out of that anyway, because it's a lot easier to attract a repeat customer than it is to attract somebody who's never heard of you before. And that's the best use of email, is to go out there and get those repeat customers, those referrals, and email people who are familiar with you. Staying top of mind is one of the keys.
Excellent.
So there's a lot of uses for it that you can, it doesn't matter about the Can Spam law. You want to email people who are familiar with you and who love you, and you're just trying to stay top of mind and get them to buy stuff. And then you'll stay a mile away from the Can Spam Act, and you won't have to worry about it. And I'm not a lawyer anyway, so if you wanted to ask me about the regulations, I'm not the right guy. No, you really talk to the attorney about it.
That's a great answer. Again, it gets back to integrity in your marketing practices. It always amazes me that I will get an email that obviously has been harvested from one of my companies, and they're asking me to call them to do business with them. What, are you kidding me?
Exactly. You got to remember it's a relationship on the other end. It might be an electronic communication, but the person reading that is a real live human being, and they expect you to be professional.
Mm-hmm. And it gets back, the other point that you'd made, I heard, is a referral. I love the idea of the pass-along, and too often we forget to include that in our emails.
Yeah, you ever catch anybody down at the copy center making copies of a postcard that you sent out through the mail so they can send it to their friends? That doesn't happen, but email's easy to forward.
Yes.
You click the forward button. Now, why would somebody do that? Well, it's either valuable to somebody that they know, so you've got to include some valuable content in your emails, or it has an offer that their friends and colleagues will be interested in, and it makes them look smart forwarding it because, hey, look, I have the offer, I have the goods, I have the information, and you don't, so it makes me look smart to forward it on. So it's a great tool. It's so easy to use.
And really, that's kind of the basis of the whole social media genre, is this trusted network. As long as content is king, as long as you have the right content, you have value, then the network that you send it to will pass it on through their trusted network, and that's the best referral possible.
Exactly. There's the whole basis of social media, right? Everybody has a friend, and they have a friend, and there's affinity groups and people that talk and people that like to share information. So you want to enable them to share your information in every way possible, and you want to make it as easy as possible.
I love it. That is really good. Is there any tricks, and I'm using that term very loosely, I don't mean real tricks, but is there any techniques that we can use to better our chances that our emails might get opened?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff, too much for this call, but let me give you a couple of tips.
Please.
So getting your email open starts usually with deliverability. So if you can't get the email into the inbox and it goes in the junk folder all the time, then of course it's not going to get open. And most of deliverability right now is depending on the reputation of the sender. So the email services that deliver your mail, like Yahoo or AOL or Hotmail or Comcast or those kind of providers, when they decide whether or not to deliver an email to one of their customers, they look at the reputation of the sender. Where is this email coming from, and can we trust this sender? And if they trust the sender, there's a higher degree of probability that the email is going to go into the inbox instead of getting filtered or blocked or bounced back to the sender. So it starts with finding, again, that email service provider with a good reputation so you can get the highest delivery rate possible. After that, you want to take a look at the content of your email, and that starts with your from line and your subject line. 60% of consumers look at the from line to determine whether to open an email, and then the rest of them say they look at the subject line to determine whether they want to open the email. So you want to make your from line really familiar. Make sure you're communicating who you are. If they know you as your business name, then you want to put your business name in the from line. If they know you because you're the person they deal with personally, then maybe your personal name can go in the from line. And then your subject line has to be short, and it has to prompt them to open the email. So you don't want to give a generic subject line like July newsletter. That's not going to prompt them to open. Maybe you want to highlight one of the articles in your newsletter, or give them a reason to open the email right now and take a look. So those are two big keys.
So you want, in the subject line, you want something that has a what's in it for me factor.
Absolutely, yeah. What's in it for me, and why should I do this right now?
Well, that's a really good point, too, because if something is compelling enough and you can engage the reader, they'll open it right now, but if they put it off until later and their inbox gets full, there's a pretty good chance they will indiscriminately delete it.
Yeah, they figure, this is a week old and I haven't read it yet, so I'll probably just get the next one, and they delete it and they never open it and they never read it.
Excellent point. Is the intent of an email actually to sell something? Do you have to put in all your copy? Is that what it's intended? Or really is it just to drive people maybe either to the telephone or to a website, and that's where the sale takes place?
Well, it really depends on your goals. You can enable an email to send somebody straight to a shopping cart or to make a one-click purchase, and those kinds of things are possible. But typically what I find, just going back to some of the mistakes that people make, I find that a lot of people put too much content in their emails and not enough in other places. So one of the fears that small business owners have is over-promoting. So a great way to keep from over-promoting is sending just enough information to get someone to click, and then hosting the rest of that information someplace really important that drives traffic, so maybe your website or maybe your social media page. So you can use an email perhaps to write a summary of a blog article, and then once you've called their attention to that blog article, you can send them over to read the rest of the blog article. And now they're on your social media site, and that social media site can be driving traffic towards conversion somewhere else, maybe to a shopping cart, something like that. So it could be a 2 or a 3-step process, or you could just say, hey, buy it now, and the buy it now button's right there in the email, and it just makes it real convenient.
That's incredible advice. That's really good, because there's 2 camps there, and you just kind of brought them all together in a really common sense way. And earlier you'd mentioned the term conversion, and I'm a real strong proponent of identifying what your conversion is and then setting up metrics actually to identify how well you're doing. The different types of conversion while using email, can you speak to that at all? I mean,
yeah, well, your email can't track conversion because conversion usually happens someplace besides the email. You can't put a full-blown shopping cart right in the email box. It's got to go someplace. So you either need to drive traffic to your storefront online, or to your brick-and-mortar store, or to the phone to give you a call, or someplace where they're gonna order whatever it is that you have. So you're going to have to track your clicks, and then track those click-throughs using your either analytics software, or if you're getting phone calls from people, you need to track your phone calls and try to figure out where those phone calls came from. And you're going to have to keep all those statistics so that you can tell which emails resulted in which sales, which landing pages on your website resulted in which sales, and which emails drove those sales. So it can get a little bit complicated, but really it's simple. Just think about it in these terms. If your email drives lots of traffic to a website or to the phone or any place where there's conversion ready to happen, and then you don't get a lot of conversions, then your email did a great job.
Yeah.
But your conversion process isn't working very well, and that needs some attention. And just flip that on its head. If you do it the other way, if your email is lousy at driving traffic towards conversion, nobody's calling you, nobody's visiting your website, but when they do call you and visit your website, they buy something right away, then there's nothing wrong with your conversion process, but maybe your email needs some attention because you're not driving enough traffic. So it's an easy indicator of where at least you need to focus your attention. And if you're not tracking that at all, you're losing the opportunity. And your competition's doing that, and they're fixing it, and they're honing their skills, and they're getting better at it. So make sure you're doing that too.
So what I'm hearing is that the metrics, there is a lot of different types of metrics and different definitions of conversion. The email, you can get your deliverables, you can get your bounce rate, soft bounce, hard bounces, which is a type of a metric that you really want to kind of focus on as well. But then when the emails actually get delivered, you get your click-throughs that are going to take you over to a website or a social media page. You also have pass-alongs, and all that information is available from reports in your email service provider.
Right. So you want to take a look at both sides of the equation. Where did they come from, and then what did they do once they got there?
And then creating unique landing pages maybe for a particular email campaign is also kind of an easy way to track what takes place once they get to the website as a result of that email campaign.
Yeah, great way to do it.
And it's really low cost.
Sure.
Can you think of any success stories, anything personal that you've been exposed to or read about or seen at Constant Contact where a company has used email marketing and it's been successful?
Yeah, it's amazing. We now have over 200,000 small business customers. So, you hear success stories all the time, and this is just an indication of how committed Constant Contact is to our customer success. Every Tuesday when we have our company meeting and the whole company gets together in this giant room and we talk, one of the things we share is a customer story.
Wow.
So we're always looking at our customers and finding those success stories. So I'll just give you one that I heard a couple of weeks ago.
Please.
There's a company out of the Chicago area that's called Dinner by Design. And this woman started her company in a sole kitchen, just one little kitchen. And her dream was that families aren't getting together around the dinner table as much anymore because people just don't have time.
Yeah.
So she started making meals for people who were busy and wanted to have dinners so that they could swing by and either pick them up and load 4 or 5 dinners into the fridge for the week, or they could come by as sort of a social event and actually assemble their own dinners. And they would only need a little bit of the ingredients, so they would just take a pinch of this and a pinch of that and put it all together, so they didn't need to have a fully stocked kitchen full of all the ingredients. And it would only take them a couple of hours to assemble 5 or 10 meals for a week or two. And you go home and put those in the fridge, and you've got fresh homemade meals all week long without spending all that time shopping and all this kind of stuff. So it's called Dinner by Design. And she started using email marketing to talk to her customers because it's a repeat business model.
Mm-hmm.
So she needs to remind people the ingredients that she had on hand for that week and all the different meals you could put together, and remind people to schedule an hour or two during the week to put those meals together, or remind people of what meals were available for that week. And she has since grown that now to, I think it's over 30 locations.
Oh, my God.
And it's become quite a franchise and quite an idea. And she still uses email marketing in all of her franchises to connect with her customers. And it's one of the other things that I really enjoyed about the story was the fact that the emails resulted in a lot of people replying to the emails, telling them what they think about her products and services. Wow. And so she's been able to design her growth plan around knowing exactly what her customers are thinking. And so it's such an easy two-way form of communication that people will reply to the emails and say, hey, we'd really appreciate it if you did this or that. And then she can incorporate that into her business plans, and that helps her to grow too. So it's this really great, robust communication strategy, and it's just cheap as can be. So tons of value in stories like that, and there's a million of them.
And that's an incredible story. And, I mean, going from one kitchen to 30 locations, and she's really providing this necessity for working families. But the one thing that I heard here, too, in your conversation is that when you think about email, especially email campaigns, you kind of think of it as a one-way communication. I look at your email, I decide whether I'm going to hit delete or I'm going to hit click to click through. But what you just said there was it brought in that whole social media aspect where your customers actually can open a line of communication and kind of tell you what they were thinking so that you could better your product and your service. And it just kind of built, and then also building that trusted network.
Yeah, and you know they don't even have to hit the reply button and send you an email to be communicating back. You can look at which links they're clicking on, and you can try to determine what their interests are. You can ask them when they sign up for your email list to select a couple of different interest categories that you might have. You can watch them click through to your social media page and see which articles they go to and find out what their interests are that way. So there's a lot of ways to really get that feedback. You could even send an online survey or a poll, and just kind of take their temperature and see what they're thinking. It's really, really valuable stuff to develop your products and services around what your audience already wants instead of trying to figure that out by putting a product out there and having it fail. Mm-hmm. Find out what they need and what they want first and then deliver it.
And you're talking about less than pennies per email.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a little bit of extra effort, but not a huge and significant investment in terms of money.
John, that's great stuff, man. That is good. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to the conversation or mention about email marketing, social media?
Yeah, I just want to tell people how important it is to maintain a relationship with your customers. So make sure that your marketing is connecting with people, and that will make sure that you're successful. If you've got people and you've got customers, you're in business. If you don't have relationships and you don't have customers, then, let's face it, you probably have a hobby. So get out and find those customers and build those relationships, and then you're going to have a competitive advantage.
That's incredible advice. In my conferences, when I teach and speak on innovation, I use the term, if you build a better mousetrap, the saying, the world will be the path to your door. Well, actually, if you build a better mousetrap, you'll just have more dead mice. If you're not out there marketing and communicating and building that network and using tools like email marketing, then you really don't have a business.
That's right.
Can you tell the listeners where they can find Email Marketing for Dummies? Because I want it immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get Email Marketing for Dummies anywhere books are sold. But preferably, go buy it from a small business if you can.
I like that.
I know it's not always possible, but if it is possible for you, do that. And if it's not, then you can go through the traditional sources. And you can also you can find it on emailtrainer.com, which is my website. You can also find a lot of hints and tips and resources and stuff on constantcontact.com.
Okay. So it's emailtrainer.com and constantcontact.com.
That's right.
And the final message, of course, is support the entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
I love that. Thank you. I'd really like to thank John Arnold, author of Email Marketing for Dummies, for being here today. It's also published by John Wiley & Sons. John, really, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. I appreciate it, and thanks for having me.
This is great. This has been Lon Safko, co-author of the Social Media Bible. Be sure to check out the other valuable social media tactics, tools, and strategies that can be found in the Social Media Bible book and its companion website, www.thesocialmediabible.com. For more information about me, Lon Safko, please go visit my website at www.lonsafko.com. And again, John, thanks a lot for being here today.
Thank you.